We begin with breaking news in the federal leaders' debates. The first of those tonight in Montreal in French, set for 6 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours earlier than originally scheduled. There is a major breaking development in terms of the leaders participating in the debate tonight and again in English tomorrow. The Leaders' Debates Commission is rescinding its invitation to Green Party co-leader Jonathan Pedneault. The commission explains the Green Party no longer meets the criteria to participate, and that participation would undermine the integrity of the debates as well as the interests of the voting public. Now, according to Radio-Canada, receiving a text message from Jonathan Pedneault himself, the party is going to respond to all of this at some point this morning. But let's go through to Janice McGregor in Ottawa. Janice, you and I were speaking all through the program so far this morning of how it was controversial now, given what we know about the Green Party's not meeting those official 3 criteria to participate. Let's talk about the decision to rescind the invitation.
Yeah, never a dull moment in this election, right, Heather? Always another twist here. Look, the criteria was clear. The Green Party needed to be running candidates in at least 90% of the ridings across Canada in order for its leader to participate tonight and tomorrow night. The simple fact is they did not actually get that many Green candidates on the ballots across the country. And so in its statement this morning, the Debates Commission says that because the party intentionally, interesting word there, intentionally reduced the number of candidates it was running for strategic reasons, the statement says it no longer meets the intention of the rules that were set. Now, it also goes on to say that whether or not the party originally intended to run 343 candidates, that would be someone in every riding, as you know, it first said it would have at least 340 candidates. It apparently had submitted those names some 27, 28 days, in advance as required. The fact is, in the end, the voters will no longer have that many Green candidates to choose from across the country. The decision not to run in some ridings out of a fear of strategic, vote splitting concerns, as sort of had been said in particular places, the Greens apparently were worried about helping to elect Conservatives because their vote would peel off votes of others who could beat a Conservative. That, the Commission's statement said, is inconsistent with the criteria that was set for a party's national viability. And so it is judging that including the Green Party leader under these circumstances, as you say, would undermine the integrity of the debates and the interests of the voting public. Green Party leader Jonathan Pedneault spoke to CBC News yesterday when it was becoming clear that they were not going to meet this criteria. He was quite defensive about this. He was saying that he wanted to be talking about his party's policies, that he did not want to be talking about the party's tactics or its internal politics right now. But the consequence of them not meeting this very clear bar and running as many candidates as they had originally pledged is that he's not going to be talking at all tonight.
Janice, let's take a look. We have some images, really a first look at where this is all going to transpire tonight, some of the preparations inside. There is the headquarters for Radio-Canada in Montreal, La Maison, and that's where this will be held tonight and tomorrow in the atrium there, and some of the early scenes of the crews getting ready to welcome now the 4 leaders to that debate stage. Moderator Patrice Roy will be there. What do we know in terms of what the dynamics are likely to be, what the themes are going to be? What will you be watching for tonight?
Well, I think the most important thing to know is compared to other years and other debate formats, what they've set up tonight is a very open format. They want to emphasize the actual kind of freewheeling debate between leaders. So they're going with the single moderator that will introduce each of the 5 topics, pose the questions, including perhaps some follow-ups. But then the leaders are supposed to be able to have a chance to really kind of go at each other. That's where things get unpredictable. We have seen Yves-François Blanchet, Jagmeet Singh in these debates before. We have not seen Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney on this kind of a stage. And I have to say, because Mark Carney's never even had a seat in the House of Commons, We have never seen Poilievre and Carney have a chance to really square off, joust with each other face to face before. And so in and of itself, that it will be very interesting to see who will dominate, who's going to need to kind of butt in and insert themselves to be heard, who may benefit from hanging back a bit out of the fray. We will see. Reporters yesterday asked the guy who does have the lead in the public opinion polls at this point, Mark Carney, whether he's nervous, particularly about debating in his second language first.
Look, I work on my French every day. I improve, but I think I improve. These debates are important, but they're part of a bigger communication with Canadians in this crucial election.
And for people who don't speak French and might be wondering why they would still want to tune in tonight, I have to say, particularly when we're talking about what could be very volatile Quebec seats, this debate could be in a position to shift which party is in the driver's seat from here. It could shift whether we're looking at a majority or a minority government. Debates don't always move the needle, but sometimes you do have a moment that changes people's minds, for better or worse. So the stakes are high.
78 seats in the province, Janice, and yes, voters watching closely and francophones right across the country watching closely too.